For decades, we've been sold a lie. The lie is that good negotiation is about finding a win-win solution, a fair compromise, where both sides meet in the middle. We're taught to be reasonable, to split the difference, and to believe that a 50-50 split is the hallmark of a successful deal. I'm here to tell you that this approach is not just outdated, it's dangerous. In my world, splitting the difference could mean getting half my hostages back. That's not a win. That's a catastrophic failure. The truth is, great negotiation isn't a spreadsheet exercise. It's an act of discovery, a journey into the heart of human emotion and motivation. It's about understanding the person across the table so deeply that you can guide them to the solution you want, and they'll feel great about it. The old school of thought, championed by books like Getting to Yes, was born in the ivory towers of academia. It assumes people are rational actors who will logically weigh their options and make the best choice. But after 24 years in the FBI, terrorists, bank robbers, kidnappers, I can tell you one thing for sure: people are anything but rational. We are all driven by deep-seated fears, hidden desires, and cognitive biases we don't even know we have. Trying to negotiate with pure logic is like trying to build a house on quicksand. It will collapse under the weight of real human behavior. The key is to embrace this irrationality and learn to navigate it. We are terrified of the word no. From a young age, we are conditioned to believe that no is a confrontation, a rejection, the end of the conversation. We do everything in our power to avoid hearing it, and we are equally hesitant to say it ourselves. We dance around the issue. We say, maybe, I'll think about it, all in an effort to avoid the dreaded two-letter word. But this is a massive mistake. In reality, no is one of the most powerful and useful words in any negotiation. It's not the end of the discussion, it's the beginning of one. It's a moment of clarity that allows the real issues to surface. When someone tells you no, they feel safe and in control. They've just asserted their position and protected themselves. This feeling of safety is exactly what you want. A person who feels defensive will never reveal their true motivations, but a person who feels in control will start to relax and open up. Hearing no isn't a failure, it's an invitation to ask more questions. It allows you to probe deeper. What about this doesn't work for you? What would you need to see for this to be a possibility? No doesn't shut the door, it opens new doors you didn't even know were there, giving you a chance to understand their real objections and priorities. If there's one skill that sits at the core of everything I teach, it's tactical empathy. When people hear the word empathy, they often think of sympathy, feeling sorry for someone or sharing their sadness. That's not what this is. Tactical empathy is not about agreeing with the other person or even liking them. It's about recognizing their perspective and vocalizing that recognition. It's the ability to understand the feelings and mindset of another in the moment and to hear what is behind those feelings. It's a tool, a tactic designed to build a connection and gather information that will ultimately give you an advantage. The human brain is wired for connection. We all have a fundamental need to feel seen and understood. When you demonstrate to someone that you get where they're coming from, their brain chemistry literally changes. The defensive, fight or flight parts of the brain quiet down, and the more rational, problem-solving parts come online. By simply acknowledging their position with a phrase like, "It seems like you're feeling a lot of pressure to get this done," you're not agreeing with them. You're simply holding up a mirror to their emotional state. If tactical empathy is the overall strategy, then mirroring is one of the simplest, most effective techniques. You can use it immediately. It's so easy, you might feel silly doing it, but it works like a Jedi mind trick. Mirroring is simply the act of repeating the last one word. 2 words. 3 words. Your counterpart has just said. That's it. You deliver it as a question. Curious and inquisitive. Imagine you're negotiating a salary. The hiring manager says, "We've budgeted about $70,000 for this role." The average person might jump in with a counteroffer or an argument. The master negotiator simply mirrors. With a calm, downward inflecting tone, you'd say, $70,000 for the role? Then you go silent. This simple act does 2 things. First, it makes the hiring manager feel the need to elaborate. They'll start explaining why they arrived at that number, giving you valuable information about their constraints and flexibility. Second, it non-confrontationally signals that the number might be a problem for you, prompting them to potentially adjust it on their own. The psychological principle behind mirroring is surprisingly deep. As humans, we are drawn to what is similar and familiar. When you mirror someone's words, you create a subtle sense of kinship. While mirroring is about repeating words, labeling is about identifying and verbalizing the underlying emotions of your counterpart. It's a more advanced form of tactical empathy. You're essentially taking a guess at what the other person is feeling and saying it out loud. You do this with phrases that start with, "it seems like," "it sounds like," "it looks like." These phrases are crucial because they are not accusatory. Imagine a client is upset about a missed deadline. They're telling you how disappointed they are in your company's performance. Instead of getting defensive or making excuses, you can use a label. You might say, "It seems like you feel we've let you down and that we didn't prioritize your project." This simple statement has a sort of magical effect. It validates their frustration. It shows them you're not just hearing their words, you're understanding the emotion behind them. The moment you label a negative emotion, you begin to diffuse it. It's like shining a light on a monster in the dark as it becomes smaller and less intimidating. Labeling works because it addresses the emotional elephant in the room. In most negotiations, there are unspoken feelings: fear, distrust, anxiety, frustration. By labeling them, you bring them out into the open, where they can be dealt with. Once you've used mirrors and labels to build rapport and understand the emotional landscape, it's time to start shaping the negotiation. This is where calibrated questions come in. These are not just any questions. They are carefully designed, open-ended questions that remove aggression and confrontation from your requests. They start with the words, how, what. They force the other person to stop, think, and engage in problem solving. They can't be answered with a simple yes or no. They subtly shift the burden of finding a solution onto your counterpart. Let's say your landlord wants to raise your rent by $200 a month, an amount you simply can't afford. A no-oriented response would be, "I can't pay that." This creates a deadlock. An aggressive response is, "Why are you raising it so much?" which puts them on the defensive. A calibrated question, however, changes everything. You would calmly ask, "How am I supposed to do that?" This question is brilliant. It's non-accusatory. It implies that you want to pay it, but that it's impossible under the current circumstances, and it enlists the landlord to help you solve your problem. It makes them a partner in finding a solution. When it's finally time to talk about numbers, price, salary, terms, many people freeze up. They revert to old habits, like splitting the difference. This is where you need a structured, disciplined process. The Ackerman model is a system I developed based on best practices from my time in the FBI and my work in the private sector. It's an offer-counter-offer method designed to get you the best possible price while making your counterpart feel like they fought hard and got a fair deal. The process begins with setting your target price. Then your first offer should be 65% of that target price. Yes, it will feel ridiculously low. That's the point. This is your extreme anchor. It shocks the system and reframes the entire negotiation in your favor. Your second offer should be 85% of your target. Your third should be 95%. And your final offer should be your exact target price. With each decreasing increment, you also offer a non-monetary item. Your final offer should be a precise, non-round number like $100,300 instead of $100,000. This system takes the emotion out of haggling and replaces it with a proven effective process. In any negotiation, there are three types of information. The first are the known knowns, the things you know. The second are the known unknowns, the questions you need to answer. The third, and most important, are the black swans. Black swans are the unknown unknowns, things you don't even know to look for. They are hidden, game-changing details that can unlock a negotiation and give you leverage. Black swans live beneath the surface. They are in motivations, fears, internal dynamics. Maybe the person is about to leave and just wants one last deal. Maybe their boss needs this solved by Friday. Maybe the company is near bankruptcy. These are black swans. They multiply your leverage. Finding them isn't mind reading. It's curiosity. Listen to subtle clues. Listen to what's said. Listen to what's left unsaid. Hunt with tools. Tactical empathy. Watch for surprise, unguarded comments, emotional reactions. When something doesn't fit, don't ignore it. It's a breadcrumb. Follow it. You've learned the theory. Now it's time to put it into practice. Finally, here is your 5-step plan. These skills are not magic. They are rooted in human psychology. Start practicing them today, and you will be astonished at how quickly you can turn any conversation in your favor.